my bad. So it's preparing to go live. Okay, we are live on Zoom as well. Okay, so a very good morning to everyone present here on a Saturday morning. So today we have with us another session after a week's gap that we had last week. So today we have Shubham with us. So I'll just give a short introduction of Shubham before we start, and then we will put it on to give it over to Shubham for his session. So today we have with us Shubham Singh Rathour. Welcome, Shubham sir. On behalf of all the interns, I give you a warm welcome. So by profession, he is an ethical hacker. He is a digital forensic investigator. He is also a cyber crime intervention officer. And at the same time, he is a bug hunter. And from the research perspective, he is a security researcher as well. So he has also worked as an intern with the Gurugram police with their cyber security cell. He is also a cybercrime investigation and research intern at keycybr. Then you must have heard about the Crime Free Bharat NTRDC project. So he is also a intern in the digital forensic department in the Crime Free Bharat project. Also, he's an anti-cybercrime society research and development intern. So he has been acknowledged with the Microsoft Hall of Fame. He has been acknowledged by the NCI IPC Government of India. He's also been appreciated for Cyber Policing Best Practices Meet 3.0 by the CRCIDF, and he's also been a volunteer at the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal under the MHA and Government of India. So that said, we have a very decorated personality today, a multi-talented, versatile personality to train us. And today's session that he is going to take for us is on Windows privilege escalation. So over to you, Shubham sir. All the interns are very much excited to hear from you. So let's spend the next couple of hours with Shubham sir and gain as much knowledge as we can from him. Welcome, Shubham sir. Over to you.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. And good morning to all participants joined here. Wait a minute, I'm sharing this.
Sure, yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yes, we can see your screen. Go ahead.
So, we will discuss the Windows privilege escalation. So what do we get in window land? Like again, you can find yourself like as a Travis or wait for next Stuxnet's release to be found. There are plenty of kernels like passing font bugs coming out at the moment, which results in privilege escalation on an unpatched system being pretty straightforward as long as you have the exploit. So if the metasploit is your thing, then one command will pop up you a privilege cell. However, on a fully patched box, you won't be finding any like SUID binaries, and the environment usually doesn't get passed through to any services or high privilege processes. So, like, where does this leave us? So, window privilege escalation has always been one of the interest to me. It's usually the second stage of a compromise, and in our business domain, admin access to a network provides for a pretty good report. And Googling for Windows privilege escalation, however, sometimes turn up a new vulnerable driver like IOCTL exploit. But in most of the hits, it is post like this one. So like, so yes, it's a privilege escalation, and from the administrator to system. If I went to a Linux hacker said, hey, hey, as a root, I can run a binary that run as root. I'm pretty sure that the penguin would say something like that. So, is this really all we got for Windows? You can privilege escalate from admin to system. So here you see that open a command prompt and type at 13 so like time and interactive command. So it's must be the administrator group, and after that go to another slide. It's a bash script. So it's a type of native privilege escalation exploit we see for Windows. This is one wrapped up with a batch file with comments, but again and again, it's escalating from a already privileged account. So we go to next slide. This is must be the administrative group. Yeah, and some more examples of how you do privilege escalation in Windows world. Like replacing a binaries in the system32 directory to achieve privilege escalation. That's not going to work from an unprivileged account. However, saying that, I did use the technique recently to log into a box that I had forgotten the credentials for, but I had physical access, and that always wins. An advisory got published this year for an application that didn't wrap the command line in quotes. And it went as far as saying that by default, it's not possible for unprivileged users to write to the root of like C directory and create the program exe binary. But if the permission had been messed up, then it would be exploitable. That's a pretty big if. So the aim of this talk is to discuss some Windows privilege escalation techniques that we have used in the past, and perhaps trigger something that will make you go away and come up with some new methods for the future. There are no 0 days vulnerability released here. In fact, there is no memory corruption occurring at all. In just stock standard, these are the things to look for that may be helpful when you have that user cell in Citrix environment, or want to take over that workstation, either yours or someone else. We will discuss a method that can be used from user, etc. Unintended installation are used by OEM manufacturers as well as most outsourced support vendors. This one came from Citrix job uh, that I had to after hours once. I was rather glad that I got a command prompt like in 5 minutes and local administrator in 2 more. Took 5 more to get domain admin. Then I packed up and went home. So MS system preparation files hold password in an XML file. Okay, and this is the BAS64 encoded, and system prepare is the system preparation tool for automatic deployment and configuration of Windows system. Then grip the drive for interesting bits. You will be surprised what coming out, like FTP, mail, VNC clients all have the ability to catch passwords. Most are easily decrypted, and password recovery tools exist for many things, including Internet Explorer, .rdp files, and everything stored in protected storage. Like one of the most famous tool is Nearsoft. It's used for password recovery also. And see that the registry is another place that clear text or easily decrypted credentials can exist. So VNC again would probably be encrypted in the registry, but there are numerous tools to decrypt these. Depending on the environment, Citrix or Chaos, you may find that the world readable auto login keys under the window logon branch to come up in handy. So these contains clear password for the account to auto login as. Why would this be useful? Well, in the case where they can be reused again, other servers in the environment, or if it's a domain account, then it become handy quickly. And if access to regedit is provided and you haven't up your tool suit yet, then try the registry like command line tool. So while these keys are not strictly privilege escalation, they could reveal credentials that are reused or at least provide some information on connected systems. A couple of easy search queries can reveal information quickly. And for those that haven't used a clip before and a command line, it's great for when you are working in Citrix environment or the like. So see this like GUI apps agent, like in Windows 2000, 2003, like process is going on. Agent diagnosis, command line. See process running and command is getting the like files, system root, temp, files, window directory. Windows XP. Anything running as a system with a window can be attacked from a command line. Easy wins, list view, tree view, rich text box, edit box. Like stuff like this still works. Like narrator is not running, magnifying is not running. Then one more stuff, C util directory. So by default, the directory permission or the system folders, such as program files, will prevent unprivileged users from writing. If this wasn't the case, then it would be fairly easy to overwrite a common binary and wait for another user admin to log in. So sometimes, however, the installer don't play properly. So these are incorrect permissions. All through a standard user can't can't write to the root of the drive. Any newly uh, created directory will automatically inherit the permissions shown above. As you can see, like on Windows XP, the users group get file append data here, file append data, and file write data to the newly created directory, even though the owner is the administrator. So on Windows 7, a similar thing occurs. However, it's unauthenticated user that get a permission. Any user that authenticates to the box automatically becomes a member of authenticated user. As you can see here, the directory is owned by me, and another user, test user, can create a file in the directory. See, here is the test user, can create the file in the directory. So how can this become a problem? And more specifically, how can this is be used for privilege escalation? Well, when applications install themselves outside of a protected directory, then files in that directory can be manipulated. Depending on the permission, it may be possible to replace the binary directory or to append data to a file, that is to override the contents. So this is an example of Metasploit bug. On February 1st, Erodero Prado of Sycamia notified us of a privilege escalation vulnerability on multi-user Windows installation of the Metasploit framework. The problem was due to inherent permission that allowed an unprivileged user to write files in the Metasploit installation directory. This screenshot is from a stock Windows 7 box. And we can see that the admin who owns the directory has created a file. You would expect this to be safe from modification. However, like this screenshot shows the standard user, test user overwriting the admin owned by file. No special tricks here. Like just badly set the default permission and permission inheritance. Here we can see the specific permission granted for the file, and it clearly shows that on authenticator user group get access right to file append data, file write data, then delete. Access CHK is a tool by sys internals, and can be used to quickly score a system for permission assigned to a different user and user groups. So that's really helpful. As far as privilege escalation goes, if we can overwrite a binary such as peek anywhere or metasploit, and then wait for another user to log in, or curse a domain admin to RDP into the box to fix our issue, such as my peek anywhere no longer works. But what about something more silent? Let's interactive. Considering the admin probably isn't going to respond to me calling him up and telling him I have compromised his server and he can come and check. All through that could work too. So we want something that we will run when another users log in. User land trojans essentially like auto runs is another tool from system internals. Like see this tool, it's showing big info data process. And like what we are looking for, this an entry that points to a directory that we know has a weak permission. So I'm talking about big info. So big info is a tool we sometimes see. It's used to display a background on the system stats, etc. Useful for admins when they forget what server they are on. We can see here that it's running from the big info directory, and we will assume that the default permissions apply. So authenticated user can have access to create files in the directory. Taking out the permission for the executable, it's clear that we cannot replace the binary itself. But there are some ways to circumvent execution when you can create files in the running directory. Loading Procmon and Procmon a tool like and monitoring the big info process. We are looking for DLL load from the current directory. So see this reach 32.dll running in big info. Then we create our attack DLL, place it in the directory, and then whenever big info is run, when anyone logs in, they can do some calculation while they wait. And other methods for DLL replacement, like redirection, can I specify the DLL to use /manifest file. Known DLL cannot be redirected. Search path are there. Always pays to check out the scheduled tasks and jobs. If any of them point to a weak location, then there is a chance for privilege escalation. And as a task usually run as system, it's a good win. We did a job when a job was set to run as a domain account. From a user, he could Trojan the process. So If you are very lucky, you may find an entry for a service or other hook that is not on the drive. Yeah, if you can write to the expected location, then you win. We recently had a job like where a service was pointing into like C directly, HPP, HP services, and which had since been deleted. And by recreating the structure, we are able to inject as a service into system. This is the service, and access CHK can be used to easily spot configured services with weak permission. This is one from XP SP3, Windows XP SP3, and gives power users the ability to modify the service. These two from a few years back, like now we are patched of course, but are included to show the type of permission we are hoping for. Service all access, service all access in Windows XP SP1. These are the permission. Service change config can reconfigure the service binary right under DAC. Like see, can reconfigure permission leading to service change config. Right owner can become owner reconfigure permission. Generic right inheritance service change config. Generic all inheritance service change config. Then how to take control. So this is the service control, the running, and configure and start, and then stop. UPN NP host is running. See. Then other permission issue. Process, threads, handles, pipes, shared memory, inject code into unsecured processes, steal processes, thread tokens, hijack handles for write access, long pipes and are long. Access CSK has syntax for checking most of this, like other permission issues. Then we have token impersonation. Like what is impersonation? The ability of a thread to execute using different security token. Like requires some personate privilege, GASP.net, IAM computer name. So these are token impersonation. And this is the incognito. Impersonate, snap, and anyone token from running process injection. Like administrator can hijack any user's process. Then like admin to domain account, like improve pass the hash, retrieves hashes from LSASS, and modifies in memory current user hashes. Steal once, use many, like grab a domain account hash and travel. Then user to admin can take a bit of time. Weak file permissions arrive. IS network service. This system totally doable. Abused functionality rather than vulnerability. Admin to domain account is that you want. So like we can close the session here.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. Like, I'm done right now.
Okay. Just a minute. Give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you everyone for like joining the session and listening me continuously.